writer, and I also run my own arts magazine. Wallflowers is an art journal that documents the works of creative individuals from around the world. It gives art a voice and also recognizes the efforts of people who pursue their creative interests. In general, I feel that people are not given enough recognition or attention if they pursue the arts. So I hope that with Wallflowers, I'll be able to raise awareness and show people that, hey, look, there are actually many photographers, writers, illustrators, creative people around, and maybe you should take a look at their works. With Wallflowers, I also hope that people will be more exposed to different forms of art. I guess I started Wallflowers because of my own struggles. I've been writing for a very long time, but there was just this particular period of time when I felt that I was trying very hard, but I was not going anywhere with my creative writing. And at the same time, I was aware that there were many others like me out there, so I thought that maybe I should create a platform for people to showcase their work, as well as to help them gain some kind of recognition for their art and to encourage them to keep going forward. I guess with every new startup, every new organization, there's always the problem of building an audience and gaining trust from the public. So initially, Wallflowers seemed a bit dubious because we were very, very small, and people, including artists themselves, did not seem to trust us very much. And there's always the problem with time, even now, because my team and I are still students, so there are many school commitments, and time constraint is inevitable. So it can be quite challenging to get everyone to come together to work on Wallflowers. Oh, I've thought about giving up a lot of times. It's not just for Wallflowers, but also for my pursuits in writing. Sometimes I just stop and think, why the heck am I putting myself through this? It's damn tiring and I don't want to do it anymore. But then I will just come down and stop and think that if I don't do this, then who is going to do it? I have a passion for writing and I really love Wallflowers as well. And I would just tell myself that I shouldn't give up and I should continue forward no matter how challenging it is. I guess even if the art scene in Singapore is very small, I don't think you should give up your pursuit in the arts. You should go ahead and pursue it and develop it, and who knows, the community might grow with you. I guess if you hope to get published, then I think there's no harm in sending your work to as many publishers as you possibly can. You have nothing to lose anyway, and you wouldn't know which publisher will be very interested in your writing and will get back to you. Mm, I guess it's a feeling. When I was really young, like 5 or 6, I wrote my very first story, and even though it made no sense at all, I really liked the feeling when I completed the story. It's like I had achieved something important. It's very fulfilling even now. Okay, and then it's as though whenever I write, it's as though I'm in another world, and I forget about everything else around me. And I suppose that's why I say that writing is the thing for me. Yeah, the turning point in my life also happened to be one of the happiest days of my life. I still remember it very clearly. It was 19th April 2013, and that was the very first time I saw my books on the shelf. I was so happy that I was going to cry. I mean, I've been writing for a very long time, and I really, really, really love writing. And I guess seeing your works in print must be one of the biggest accomplishments of your life. But of course, I don't mean that just because you're published means that it stops there. I mean, it's just that at that moment, it's very gratifying to know that people are finally going to read your work and you are sharing your art with others, with other people. So I guess that day was the turning point for me, and I told myself at that very moment that no matter how difficult it gets, I will not give up writing. I asked this question many times, but I can't seem to think of anything. I guess the only sacrifice is time. I mean, it's not exactly a sacrifice, but it's just that you need to spend time writing and getting your work across to people. And as for my family, they've always been very supportive of my writing. It's just that at the moment they don't wish that pursue writing full time. So they hope that I will make a compromise and get my degree first. We shouldn't take our talents for granted, definitely, but we should also be practical at the same time. I mean, how will you support yourself if you have no money? I think you have to be at least financially stable first before you can fully focus on that one thing that you really like. It could be volunteer work and most of the time art. I'm not saying that you cannot pursue it while you're not financially stable. It's just that sometimes you have to make a compromise. So for me, I will never give up writing, and I do not like it when people tell me that writing is not going to take me anywhere. But of course, at the same time, I'm aware that I have to be financially secured before I can fully dedicate myself to writing. And first things first, maybe you should get as many people as you can to read your writing. Maybe you can get a teacher or someone who's older than you to give you advice on how you can improve. And don't listen to advice that is not constructive, because it will only make yourself feel worse. I mean, imagine if you are already facing a setback and at the same time you hear some criticism, you're not going to feel good about it. And also, just continue writing, don't give up, and just write what you feel like writing and what you think you should write, and don't be restricted by what society expects from you. My favorite quote is by this artist called Yoshitomo Nara. The quote is "Never forget your beginner's spirit." It's very important to me, I think, because I interpret it as the beginner in the quote being the time when an artist was a child. So and possibilities seemed endless. So I always look back at myself when I was a child, and I think about how I don't let anything limit myself, and I just write whatever I wanted to, and 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 for some reason that is difficult to do now. Maybe it's because we go to school too much, and then we get caught up with grades and trying to get the correct answer, and our creativity becomes limited. So I guess this quote always is like a reminder for me to always look back at the time when I was a kid and to write whatever I liked and not be afraid of what others think of me. I don't mean going back to that sort of standards as a child, but to have that sort of bravery and that sort of creativity that a child possesses. Um, just a quick shout out to Kenny and his team at Books Actually, and Math Paper Press. So thank you for your encouragement and for helping me out during this time.